Let's have a look at Sakib Hussain, fast bowler for KKR, doing some drills. Let's have a look. There's something about the way that fast bowlers get from back foot to front foot. It's that the speed they get through the crease that I'm really interested in. And there's various factors that need to be in place for them to get from back foot to front foot quickly, which we can go into a little bit here. All right, so he's at the top of his game, playing IPL, clearly a very, very talented bowler. He is, I'm guessing a little bit, but it looks like he's working on his alignment here. There's a couple of constraints. I'm not sure if this one is supposed to be stumps, but there's definitely some visual clues in here. But I love, well, if you've listened to me before, alignment. Bowlers all get there differently, but alignment, it says a lot about the way bowlers move, the way they run, where their energy is moving, the health of the action, and ultimately the consistency of their action, which in turn relates to the consistency of their performance. But let's have a quick look. He's at the top of his game. Excuse me. Always interests me, this stride here. That's 90 degrees. This is your jump gather. Some people call it impulse, I think. How the foot slides underneath. And the reason for that is your body knows it's getting into that jump stride. So there's a bit of rotation that needs to take place. However, his hips are still facing forwards. His shoulders are still square on as well. So I would just keep an eye on, if I were working with him on an ongoing basis, I keep an eye on that stride there to make sure it doesn't go too far that side, because that will affect balance. It will definitely affect the direction that his hips are facing. It looks okay, but I just keep an eye on where that foot is landing. Jumping forwards. Back foot contact looks like we're almost side on. But what I love about this is that his heel doesn't touch the floor. That is the reason why he's able to get from back foot into front foot quickly. Front foot contact, there's a little bit of leaning away there. What causes that was front arm. I love how high his front arm is there. He is really engaging, stretching that left side. And that is energy that is now stored that he can use if he's using that front arm and that front side effectively as he moves through his action. Love it. Extend that front arm. Comes in. So this is a drill. So he's actually going to be moving slower in a drill than he would be in matches because he's running in slower. So what can happen through the crease is that sometimes, depends what he's working on in this drill, but sometimes things aren't moving as efficiently and certainly not moving as quickly. So I'd be interested in, is that front arm being pulled into, it's a little bit blurry. You can see there, he's still got hold of the ball here. You can see there that the front arm is being pulled across him, and that's okay, some bowlers do that, but you can clearly see there that there is a gap between his elbow and his front side. So that is now pulling him down as opposed to pulling that front arm in to keep him upright and moving toward the target. All right, so that's just something I will keep an eye on. I'd need to have a look at footage, match footage, to see what position he gets into. But I'm just keeping an eye on stuff, and these are just observations at the moment. He's clearly a talented bowler. I just keep an eye on stuff, really. It's a bit blurry, but I'm guessing that here is just about release point. So that side bend I keep an eye on. Here, I love to see from side on. I know that this is not side on. I like to see in fast bowlers, that hips are square onto the target, and how close is the back knee to the front knee. So from side on, I'd expect to see hips square on, so facing the target, and also knees as close together, so it basically means that back leg is really driving through. Now it might mean it looks like this is just lagging behind a little bit. His back leg is just lagging behind a little bit, so therefore his right hip hasn't really fired through as quickly as it maybe would do if he was off his long run up. These are just considerations, but I definitely have a look at that from side on. And if he's in this position with his long run up and running in at match pace, I'd be looking for ways, how can we get him through the crease even quicker? How can I get him into an even more or better position at back foot contact to get him driving into release and being square on with his hips, and square on with his chest at this magic moment of release. It's not far off, but the higher standard you go, the changes, the tweaks become less and less. Love his arm, but there are tweaks and there are always improvements that can be made. Straight front leg, I imagine he's got a fast ball in him. So those are my considerations. It's a drill, he's working on something. It's a drill, so he's moving slower than he normally would do. And I have to take that into consideration, but there's definitely some efficiency things that I would consider working with him on, and just being curious about, can we make them even more efficient? Let me know what you think. This is a high profile bowler that's just been playing IPL. The other things, of course, is I'd be really interested in seam position. Can he swing the ball? Can he get the seam in a position to get it moving laterally? Is he landing it on the string? And then you start going into the craft, constructing overs, how to put pressure on batters. Interesting. Thank you for sending it through. Hope you find that interesting. Let me know what you think.